My name is Nanami, 40 years old. I work at a major company, and I'm your average full-time employee. Today, I was working from home and had just finished my work for the morning.
Hey, what the heck is this?
What do you mean? This is steak. You said you wanted to eat it. That's why I cooked it for you. She wanted a full steak from lunch. Who does she think she is? And not only that, but the highest grade beef from the high-end supermarket. The last time I bought steak from the nearby supermarket and cooked it at home, she stormed over to the kitchen and said, "How can I eat this meat this cheap?" And then threw it in the trash can. Unbelievable, isn't it?
This is way too tough. I can't eat this at all.
But last time you told me this is too red. What are you going to do with my stomach? Gets upset. So this time I try to cook a little bit longer for you.
There's a limit to that.
So? Well then, why don't you do it yourself, ma'am?
What kind of wife would make her mother-in-law do this? Seriously? I don't know why on earth Ken decided to marry a girl like this.
Seriously, why did I marry into a household with such a pain of a mother-in-law? 1 year ago, got married to my husband, Kenta, who is 5 years older than me. We met at a singles party and got married 3 months later. It was really fast. And then for about 2 months after that, we were living in this apartment together. But then one day, my father-in-law suddenly passed away from illness. Given her age, we felt bad for his mother to be at home alone. So after cleaning up the house where his parents were living and also figuring out the inheritance, after everything was cleaned out, my mother-in-law moved into our apartment 3 months ago. When she first arrived, she was a little bit more calm. But now, this is what she's turned into. If only it was my father-in-law that was the one that came here. My father-in-law was a very kind person. Even though he was going through different treatments and it must have been difficult, he never once showed a bad face until the very end. He was very caring about his family.
Now that I think about it, aren't there 2 steaks in one packet?
Yes, that's true. So I was thinking about eating the other for dinner tonight.
Excuse me? Why on earth are you trying to eat that steak? It's more than enough for you to go to the supermarket and buy that cheap steak for yourself.
Sorry, what? But also, that meat from the supermarket is plenty delicious itself anyway. But that's not the point. Why does she think that she's the only one that can eat the expensive meat? Even though my husband and I are the ones paying for the groceries. My mother-in-law was spending her entire Social Security money on whatever luxury she wanted. And apparently her husband's inheritance also completely disappeared on luxury items and spa treatments. Although it's more like those luxury clothing brands have to wear her. And I don't see any effect of those expensive spa treatments. Her pores, spots, and wrinkles are all super obvious.
Anyway, you need to recook this.
And then my mother-in-law threw away the meat. Ugh! That expensive high-grade steak! I reluctantly started cooking the second strip of steak. Here you go.
This is way too soft. Can you not treat me like an elderly woman?
Which one is it? But also, you are an elderly woman! Even though she said that, she was continuing to eat bite after bite, so there was probably no issues with it. I recently starting to realize that she just wanted to complain to me.
Seriously, someone like you, not only do you not do your job, you can't cook nor do the chores properly.
I am working just fine. How many times do I have to tell you? Are you starting to get dementia? I wanted to say that, but I needed to hold it in. Hold it in.
What are you saying? But you're at home all the time.
That's because there are a lot of things that you can do as long as you have a computer.
Any work that you can do from home isn't proper work at all. And plus, even the cleaning, was it called the samba? You were lying on something like that?
Samba? Oh, she wants to talk about the household vacuum cleaner robot. But it's not called the samba. Or whatever samba it is. It gets the house clean. There are times that I vacuum myself, but this is more than enough on a daily basis.
It's wandering around and it gets in the way.
Although, you're in the way more when you're wandering around the house. Perhaps she wants to find any fault in me, but she checks all over the house down to every last corner, looking for dust or anything that I didn't clean up. So, well then, I finished eating, so I'm going to go out.
Go out? To where?
To Moni Department Store.
Moni Department Store. See? I knew you're not working, and you're just going to mess around. Just using up Ken's hard-earned money.
I only took the day off in the afternoon, and plus, I am buying my own personal items with my own money. I then went back to my room briefly. I fixed my makeup and I changed clothes. I took a deep breath and I walked out of the room, but then
Come on, let's go.
my mother-in-law was dressed up waiting for me at the front door. I am not going with you. Are you also heading out, ma'am? Well then, please go ahead and leave first. I'll lock the door.
I'm going with you. Every now and then it's important to go out with my daughter-in-law.
Ugh. I walked out the front door and, well then, I'm in a rush, so... And then I started running away.
Hey, wait!
When I was in high school, I was on the track team, so I believed that would be fine. But now that it's been 20 years later, my stamina simply couldn't keep up. Surely she can't keep up after that much. I'm sure she wouldn't be caught on the same train anymore either. So as long as I don't run into her in town, it'll be fine. I gathered myself and started walking about 10 minutes. When I arrived near the station, I received a phone call from my mother-in-law. Ignore, because I have plans today. Just when I thought the phone call ended, she immediately called the second time. Of course, I ignored that too. When I get home, I'm sure she's going to say all kinds of things, but whatever. That's what I thought, but this time I received a phone call from a different number. Who is it? Wait, it's the police? The last 4 digits of the phone number were 0110, which meant the police. Wait, did something happen to my mother-in-law? I panicked and picked up the phone, but when I listened, what? Come on, my mother-in-law's wandering? She's lost? Huh?
Yeah, apparently she forgot where the house is and can't get home. And since she couldn't get through on her own phone, she said to call her daughter-in-law that if the police called, you'd pick up.
Excuse me? Even though you hate being treated like an elderly woman when it works out for you, you tend to be even older. This is unbelievable. I tried to explain to the police that my mother-in-law didn't have any sort of dementia, but there was nothing that they could do about it anyway, so I have no choice but to go and pick her up. Are you kidding me? Hello?
Oh my, Nanami. Welcome.
This is not your house, and not only that, why are you trying to act like a fancy madame? You are stinking this place up with perfume? Sorry about my mother-in-law.
Not at all. I'm glad we were able to get in touch with you.
I finished up the paperwork and took my mother-in-law. That being said, I didn't just want to let this incident go like that. My mother-in-law was acting, so why don't I become a supporting actress? Okay, ma'am, let's go. From now on, you can't just wander out of the house like that again. Even last time you went and thought the neighbor's front yard was the toilet. You really need to be more careful, okay? Ugh. Well, she's gonna have to hold this one in, isn't she? When we walked out of the police station, my mother-in-law had the look of a witch on her face, and her face changed in an instant.
You! Why did you say something so unnecessary?
That's because you decided to go and put yourself in the hands of the police. All I did was to help out the role which you made up.
You don't need to say things like that.
Doing this was just a waste of my time. Even though I really wish it was a different date, because of my work tomorrow, I was going to need to get a gift. So I grabbed a taxi and I rushed to Moni department store. When I thought about the difference to the train station and how long I would have to wait, I knew that a taxi would be faster at this time. Darn it. This taxi fee. Well, then we can go home separately, isn't that right?
Excuse me? I didn't bring any money with me.
What?
Come on, let's get going.
Even if I parted ways with her now, she definitely was just going to call again, and it would be a pain if they call me out over the loudspeaker in the department store. I guess I have no choice. And then 3 hours later, we got home. For the record, the time that I spent on getting those gifts was 10 minutes. For dinner tonight, I was going to use various appetizers that I got from different stalls on the department store. Because of the request from my mother-in-law, the food expenses were pretty high that day. I'm exhausted. As I was taking a breather on the sofa, Kenta came home.
I'm home!
Welcome home.
Ken, welcome home. We have appetizers today. Thank you, honey.
Sure.
And what about me? For the household expenses, Kenta and I both contribute a certain amount every month. And Kenta and I had decided together, so it was also my money. However, there was not one word of things toward me, even though I kindly bought all of her clothes and bags from the department store that day. That night, I talked to Kenta about his mom. Hey, Kenta, about your mom. She was actually in the hands of the police today.
Excuse me? What do you mean?
When I told him about everything that happened today,
What the heck? That's because you left without her. She lives off Social Security, so it's not like she has that much money herself.
With that being said, we are bearing all of the living expenses, so if she wants to spend on unnecessary things, she should be able to do that herself, no? Well, even if this was out of sadness, I think that there are other ways to interact with me. During the day, she complains to me about all kinds of stuff. To be honest, it's exhausting.
You don't need to call it complaints. That's just advice in her own way.
Until now, I had tried to speak to Kenta about his mother a number of times, but it seems like he doesn't like his mom being spoken about, and he just brushes it off and defends her. I don't think fast marriages are bad, but I think that we should have spent a little bit more time getting to know each other better. But because I'm at the end of my 30s, I was in a rush. I'm going to pay for it. So I think we should have her move out. It looks like there are some elderly homes that are like residences, so we don't have to worry.
That's way too sad. That's awful. You're awful, Nanami.
Huh? Well then what about me?
You're my wife, so you should just listen to what your mother-in-law says and do your best.
And then Kenta cut off the conversation from one side and he started playing games. Why am I married? The thought of divorce did cross my mind, but for me to get divorced at the age of 40 was a daunting thought, and it had only been 1 year since we got married. I don't know what to do. Oh well, I'm just gonna sleep for today. The next day. Today was a day that I was going to the office. Kenta, what about work?
I took the day off.
What? But the other day you had taken a couple of days of paid leave. You still have vacation days left?
Yeah, I do. It's nothing for you to worry about.
Well, that might be true. Well, whatever. I'm gonna go now.
Sure.
Oh my. So you're actually going to work today?
I was working yesterday too, you know. I headed towards the office in the car. It's a lot easier if I just go to the office. I might ask them if I can come in every single day. There were some managers that were a bit of a pain, but I have fun working with my colleagues, and more than anything, I don't have to be bothered by my mother-in-law's harassment. This is bad. I need to forget about my mother-in-law and work hard today. Work was busy. Before I knew it, it was already time to leave the office. I guess this means I have to go home.
Great work today, Nancy.
Mr. Sagawa, hello. This person was my manager, Mr. Sagawa. I think he was about 3 years older than me.
Do you not want to go home? Do you want to work more?
No, I don't need to work anymore. It's just that recently my mother-in-law is a pain, and my husband won't listen to me either.
I see. I remember you saying you were going to live with your mother-in-law?
Yes.
All right. Well then, why don't we go eat some steak?
What? But this is sudden. I'm sure your family would also be troubled.
Actually, I also just got a divorce last month. I found out that she was cheating on me.
What? Mr. Sagawa had a lot of trust, even from his managers, and he was always good to his team. I can't believe that anyone would cheat on a husband like him. On that day, Mr. Sagawa and I spent about 2 hours at the steak restaurant, and while complaining myself and also listening to his story, I had a great time. I'm home.
Oh, you're back late today. Wait, you stink.
Oh, I'm sorry. It might have been the smoke from the steakhouse. But I contacted you, didn't I?
Just because you contacted me doesn't mean you're allowed to be late, even though you're the daughter-in-law.
Just because I'm your daughter-in-law, that's not a reason that I'm not allowed to eat out, is it?
It's unbelievable that you would just leave your husband like this. Well, lucky for you, I let Ken have my own home cooking for the first time in a while.
Excuse me? What is with all these dishes that need to be done? There was a massive amount of dishes and cooking utensils that were all over the kitchen without being washed. Even the pan that she must have used in the afternoon wasn't washed, and I could see that she had taken out a different pan to use, and on top of that, bowls, the mixer, even the froth there was put out. So maybe she even tried to bake as well. Will you please clean this up?
Why should I have to? I made this all for your husband, so you should be thanking me instead.
Ugh. Right at that moment, Kenta came out of the bath into the kitchen.
When did you get home? Wait, you stink!
Don't have the same reaction. Mom and son. Kenta, you got to eat all of this food, didn't you? So clean it up.
Why should I?
That's right. Why are you making your own husband do it?
Why should I have to clean up after cooking that I didn't ask for and I didn't have a bite of? That doesn't make any sense.
You know what? Even though you went out to eat steak by yourself without us,
I went with my own money, and plus every day I'm cooking dinner for you, so I should be allowed at least for 1 day.
Yeah, stop. Mom and I have to leave early tomorrow morning. We don't have time to be cleaning all of this up.
Huh? Are you going somewhere?
Yes, just a little bit. Well then, good night.
I'm gonna go and sleep in Mom's room, especially because I don't want to sleep in.
Huh? You need to wait a minute. But the two of them skipped off to my mother-in-law's room. I could have chased after them and tried to stop them, but I didn't have the energy for that. I didn't have the energy left in me to clean up after all this. When Kenta and his mom finish whatever they have planned for tomorrow, I swear I'm going to make them clean this up.
Well then, we're going.
Like I said, to where?
To Europe.
Europe? Overseas?
Yeah, we're going on a 1-month Euro trip.
I haven't heard anything about this. What about your job?
I quit.
You quit? What are you going to do from now?
Well, I'm sure I'll figure it out.
Listen, why didn't you talk to me about your job and about this vacation?
Because if I said something, you were probably gonna go against it, so I stayed quiet. Why not? It's just a trip between a mother and a son. Plus, you clearly hate my mom, so if I don't go with her, then it would be sad for her, right?
Buongiorno, Nami.
It's adieu, ma'am. Forever.
The taxi's here. Well, then let's get going.
Yes.
And so the two of them departed on their 1-month trip to Europe. Well, it's fine for my mother-in-law and her son to go on family vacation together, but I wish they had just spoken to me about it before. And plus, I couldn't accept that they had planned all of this from the beginning without ever including me in it. Even though we were technically a family. Well, even if I had to go to my mother-in-law, I wouldn't want to, so I would have said no anyway. Can't get my head clear. Well, whatever. Just hurry up and do the chores. Today was a weekend, so I was thinking about maybe going to the movie theater and taking it easy. So maybe it was perfect. The washing machine won't move. Hello? I tried replugging it and pressing all kinds of questions and shaking it, but the washing machine simply wouldn't move. Did it break? We had been using the washing machine that I bought when I was still living alone, so I had been using it for about 10 years. Recently, it was making a little bit of a noise, and sometimes I felt like the noises were sounding pretty bad, but, well, I guess it's time to change it. I'll go out to buy one. Maybe this is a good time for me to change the fridge and the vacuum cleaner as well. I've been using those since I lived alone anyway. I know I have plenty of money left. Wait, what? None? Zero? Why? The bank book that I had opened up was a joint account that my husband and I had been saving together. They had only been 1 year since we got married, so there wasn't that much in it, but there should have been plenty there to buy household appliances. But it was at zero. $20,000 had been withdrawn? Wait a minute. Don't tell me they're going on the trip with this money. I had completely assumed that Kenta was the one paying for the trip, but that was naive of me. I won't forgive him. We're getting a divorce. I got prepared, and I wasn't heading towards a movie theater or towards a household appliance store. I went and barged straight into a real estate company. Excuse me? Are there any apartments that I can move into within 1 month? And 1 month later, I had moved into an apartment that was much better than the one I lived with Kenta. A new building that had a luxurious feeling. So today is a day that they're going to be coming back. Even during the trip, my mother-in-law was sending me hordes of bragging photos and messages, but maybe they would have been happier if they just didn't come back. And then a few hours later, I received a phone call from Kenta.
Hey, Nanami, what the hell? The house is way too dirty!
What are you talking about? That's your house. So you should make sure you clean it up.
Excuse me? The dirty dishes from the day that we left the country are still there. It's super dirty!
Yeah, because I haven't been home much at all ever since that day. When I asked the real estate company, there was an apartment that I could move into straight away, so I immediately moved. For the record, I left a laundry machine there, and it's broken state. And until I can move into this apartment, I used a laundromat.
Haven't been home? Where the hell are you?
I'm home. I'm in my new home.
What are you talking about?
We're getting a divorce. I thought that Kenta was going to start crying, but then...
Divorce, huh? This is perfect, isn't it, Mom?
And then Kenta put the phone on speaker. What?
I can't believe that you're the one suggesting a divorce. Thank goodness, this will be easier than we thought.
A divorce is fine, absolutely!
Is that so? They're going to be happy about it. I was a little bit frustrated, but whatever. Having to discuss a divorce would have been a pain anyway.
With this, we don't need to worry about money, and we can cut off all ties with this useless wife. This is the best.
Yeah, the separation of assets, we're gonna go through with it.
Sure, separation of assets is fine, but what do you mean you don't need to worry about money? You already quit your job, and you can't just rely on your mom's Social Security.
What are you acting dumb for? You have a savings of $1 million, don't you? I happened to see it the other day.
Oh, you mean the money that's in my account. Nearby the bank book for the account that $20,000 was withdrawn from. I also left my personal bank book there, so I guess he saw it. I was the one managing the household finances, so I wasn't thinking much about it. Well, even if he saw it, he doesn't know the PIN code, so I had no worries about it being touched. For the record, the $1 million was from the savings that I built up when I was single, combined with the inheritance from my parents. 6 years ago, they both passed away in a traffic accident.
Which means that I'm gonna be getting $500,000. And also, we need to sell the car and split that, don't we?
We did it.
Huh. You two look like you have only looked up the law in your favor.
What's that supposed to mean?
Money that was saved up before the marriage, as well as cars, aren't included in the separation of assets. And plus, since I hadn't laid a finger on my personal account, the last time of use would have been before I got married. And about the car, you've never once driven it, and I have been paying for the taxes and the insurance on it, which means that's impossible.
Yeah, no way!
Can you cut it out with that nonsense?
So any information that you don't know is all nonsense. This is why I hate idiots.
I'm sorry, that was my bad. Let's have a proper conversation about it.
Too late. Until now, I've tried to talk to you about everything, but you would just cut off the conversation on one side, and without even discussing it with me, you would go on vacation. I've had enough.
Hey, Nanami, don't you think it's taking it too far?
Shut up. You know that you're the number one reason for this.
I haven't done anything wrong.
Oh my. Have you already forgotten? Do you already have dementia?
Stop making fun of me.
Anyway, there's nothing further to talk to you about. The divorce is decided. If you have anything to say, do it through my lawyer. Goodbye.
Hey!
This time, I was the one that was able to cut off the conversation. One case closed, I guess. After that, according to what my lawyer told me, I heard that they were kicked out of the apartment for not paying rent. Well, he was unemployed, and there was an elderly woman who spends recklessly, so of course they would struggle. As for Kenta, I heard that he's trying hard to find a new job, but he doesn't have any skills that match his age. And well, I don't think any company would want an idiot like him anyway. Because they were struggling so much to survive, my mother-in-law became so stressed that she believed a scam about investment from a suspicious young man, and she took out a loan to start. Well, anybody would have known that it was a scam, and the young guy ran away with her money. But next, she borrowed money from a scary older man, and she tried to gamble and make an instant comeback. Of course, her money quickly disappeared, and she's being chased after that by the old man. She did it all to herself. Whew. I guess I'm back to the single life. Oh, it's from Mr. Sagawa. Would you like to go see a movie together? Is he asking me out on a date? Next time, I'm not going to rush into a marriage, and I'm going to go at my own pace.